Better? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Well, that's a bad start. Um, Mic better now? Can you guys hear me? I just need to see it in the chat. Let me know if you can hear it. Um, okay, looks like we're good. Okay, so I guess I'll start this over. Hey guys, pretend none of this happened beforehand. I had such a good intro too, because I was like, oh, I'll make this intro with this cool music and I'll probably freestyle over it, but I didn't do that. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. So welcome to TNT Joe-Fi, tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. This is episode 49. Good morning to people on the West Coast. Good afternoon to people on the East. I have a good amount of stories to go over today. Excuse me. I have a good amount of stories to go over today, but I haven't really had a chance to kind of put these together. So I might just hold on here, guys. Okay, I think this should be okay. This order should be good. But before I start, what I want to talk about. Oh, Will's here. Yeah. Will, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for making it. Again, good morning, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. So, actually, what I want to start with today is where's my I'm officially using my Pixel 4 again as my daily driver. Why? I don't know. My iPhone 11 Pro has been my daily for quite some time now. In fact, my Pixel 4 has been off for a long time. Like it died, the battery died, and I just never plugged it back in, and I'm like, iPhone's good, it's good. But I actually wiped my Pixel 4 clean. I updated it, and I said, fuck it, let's try to use it again and see how well it works. And so far so good. Processor seems pretty smooth. Everything seems to be going pretty well. The phone, I noticed after using the iPhone 11 Pro for a while, is the keyboard's a little smaller, so I keep like fucking up on typing. But otherwise, it's not bad. I will say, and I pointed this out on Twitter, and so I'm gonna share that with you guys. So on Twitter, I posted a screenshot of my Pixel 4, and it's right here. See, it has fuck, I muted myself. I'm sorry. I pressed the wrong button here. Anyway, yeah, no, see, it's pretty simple, right? Just got my dock here, Google, the date, whatever, and like this cool fucking octopus that's just chilling, right? And then I was actually talking to Will, and we were talking about the iPhone and how it's cluttered. And I kind of feel like on Twitter, I had wrote that I will say I do like that my home screen doesn't look like someone vomited all over it. Hashtag Android, hashtag Pixel 4. And then this is a current screenshot of my home screen on my iPhone 11 Pro. And I think I told Will, I can't say it verbatim, but this home screen reminds me of like a 3-year-old coming to my living room and fucking it up. It's just a mess. It's such a mess. And obviously the what I have for my Pixel 4 is just so much cleaner. So I am going to start using my Pixel 4 as my daily. I already connected my AirPods Pro to it. I'll be using it probably for a week at least, and just to see if I can live with whatever conveniences and inconveniences it has. So that's it. I just wanted to share that, guys. If you guys haven't already, you can follow me on Twitter at Phone Jerome, where I'll talk about random shit. You can also find me on Instagram at Phone Jerome. Just a little plug for myself there. Let me check chat real quick. Will says it died and you buried it. Yeah, pretty much. Brian says, oh, hold on here. Brian says, because you paid $800 for it, might as well use it. I agree. Javier says, I'm getting my XL on Friday for testing. Okay. So yeah, how much did you get it for? Did you get a good deal on it? Hopefully you did. Okay. Let's move on here. So that's not what I wanted to talk about first, but we might as well. So I have this article from Android Police that says, get a brand new OnePlus 6T for just $300 on Woot. I haven't read through this article, so but for $300 for a 6T that still performs pretty well processor wise, I think it's not a bad deal. So if you need a decent phone on a budget, or you're prone to rooting slash ROMing, then we've got a great deal for you today. Woot is selling the OnePlus 6T right now for just $300. It's not the company's latest phone, daring back to late 2018, but it does pack aggressive for the price specs like a Snapdragon 845 and UFS 2.1 base storage. The OnePlus 6T is a little on the older side, it is, but the last I use it, it might be about a month since I've used it, but it still performed well when I did, performance wise at least. Let's see. The phone is still getting updates, which is great. And though OnePlus charges less for its phones, the company does tend to include higher end parts when it comes to things like chipsets and storage. You might not get pixel quality photos, but it should feel fast, and it does feel fast. OnePlus phones are also more developer enthusiast friendly with an unlockable bootloader for rooting and installing custom ROMs. Handy for when it does eventually stop getting updates if you're up to the challenge. You can read our full review here, but in summary, it was a good phone. Though it lacks a headphone jack or an IP rating, OnePlus's software is among the best, though the 6T's Android 10 update had some issues. Yeah, I don't know if they've fixed those issues. Have they fixed those issues for the OnePlus 6T? I think my biggest gripe with the OnePlus 6T was this fingerprint reader. It was not the best. It's serviceable, but it wasn't the best. That's really what I had, and the camera wasn't great. I mean, it was good during the day. It's good in really good lighting conditions, but yeah, don't expect to pull this out at night when you're at a restaurant. Not like you're going to be at a restaurant right now because everyone's at home. But whenever you're at home and you're having dinner by yourself with a side of tears, then just don't pull out your phone then to take a picture of the plate of peas you have with some leftover chicken. God, that's very dark. Battery life is also solid. It charges fast and it has had a good quality, if lower resolution screen. Based on the single SIM detail in the listing, these are probably T-Mobile branded units, which means delayed updates, but they should be unlocked for use on other carriers. With many of us trying to save cash right now, it's a decent value. Yeah, it would be hard not to recommend if you're looking for a phone that $300, I guess, is in your budget, and you're looking for something that's still pretty fast performing. So let's see here. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so this article from TechCrunch, I really should have put these in better order, but that's fine. So this other article I have is from TechCrunch. Mobile app spending to double by 2024 despite economic impacts of COVID-19. The spread of COVID-19 has already had a significant impact on the mobile app industry, and that will continue in the years to come, which actually makes me ask you guys, have you ever, or since you've been quarantined or you're at home more, have you noticed yourself downloading more shit? I've noticed that because I've gotten bored, I started downloading games, which is something I don't normally do. I'll play games occasionally, but I found myself downloading more things, which is also why I probably plugged in my Pixel 4, because I was like, okay, well, I might as well do something else with my time. And I ended up downloading Scrabble Go, like that word game, Scrabble, Words with Friends, whatever. Yeah, and I found myself playing games because I was just getting bored on my bed watching YouTube videos. So it says here, according to a revised 2020 to 2024 market forecast from app intelligence firm Sensor Tower, a sizable increase in app downloads for industries like remote work and education will lead to a large surge in app installs for the early part of 2020 and beyond, despite other decreases in downloads for ride sharing and fast food apps. However, the expected economic downturn resulting from COVID-19 will somewhat dampen revenue growth in the years ahead, the report found. Despite this, mobile app spending worldwide will continue to grow and will even double by 2024. So this has a ton of graphs here. I don't know, graphs that go up and show more stuff happening, more sales. For starters, global spending in mobile apps will surpass 100 billion for the first time in 2020, growing at approximately 20% year over year to hit 102 billion. Yeah, I mean, obviously, right? You're going to download more shit. You might spend some more money on some shit. In addition to increases in non-game apps like education, grocery delivery, or remote work apps, mobile game downloads will grow 30% year over year to reach 56.2 billion, compared with 10.4% growth between 2018 and 2019. By 2024, mobile games will account for 41% of new installs, or 74.8 billion. The early indication is that China will see a massive increase in downloads in 2020, particularly in games and education categories. This follows a drop in downloads over the past few years due to government regulatory practices like the games licensing freeze. Yeah. So obviously more stuff. App Store countries by downloads. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. No. Oh, Gatito. Hey, hello. Hey, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. If you're new here, appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for coming. Okay, so yeah, obviously, you're at home more, you're gonna be downloading more shit. I mean, pretty self-explanatory there. Okay, so I wanted to get into this because I wanted to talk about how it seems like Samsung is getting pretty desperate to sell their S20 lineup of phones. This article from Android Police says Samsung promises 50% cash back if you return your Galaxy S20 within 2 years. Okay, so let me think about that. Let's say you buy just the S20, right? $1,000. They'll give you $500 back if you return it in 2 years. So if the next S20, the S21 or whatever they call it comes out, will you still get that $500, right? Because it's within that 2-year time frame, or you can hold it and still get 500. I mean, that's not bad, but you got to shell the money up front right now. Although, is that $1,000 or is that with the $200 discount they're putting it in right now? So if you buy it for $800, are you going to get $400 back? Which again isn't bad. It's just you're going to have to pony the money up right now. Samsung is reportedly disappointed with S20 sales, and that has manifested as a new quote buyback program available to buyers of the Galaxy S20 series. If you pick up a Galaxy S20, Samsung promises to buy it back for 50% of the full retail price if you send it back within 2 years. That could mean hundreds of dollars for a phone that's on its last legs in 23 months and 29 days. Samsung has a habit of offering enhanced trade-in values to encourage upgrades, but this program lets you get almost as much cash whenever you decide it's time to move on from your S20. Samsung has featured the buyback program on its main S20 sale page. So they've officially put this, on Samsung's website? Yeah, they have. Yeah, your 50% guaranteed buyback program value. Again, you got to pony up that cash though. So if you don't have a trade-in, you have to opt in at the time of purchase, and doing so reduces the value of trade-ins. If you don't have a trade-in, that's no problem. The base S20 could get you $500 back if you return it, and the S20 Ultra is $700 to $800 depending on the model. Just like a regular trade-in, your buyback submission has to be in good shape with no factory reset protection. If you can manage that, you'll get your 50% cash payment in a few weeks. Samsung apparently hopes a guaranteed 50% value will help people justify the higher cost of this year's Galaxy phones. That might work for some, but a price drop would probably do a better job. I agree with that. I think a price drop straight up would be the better call, but maybe Samsung needs that money right now. Maybe they're doing it in hopes that you don't return it in that 2-year time frame, right? Like when you get a subscription for something and they say free trial for 30 days and then you forget to do it on day 31 and then they recharge your credit card. Hopefully they're probably thinking that you're not going to even return it, or that something happens to the phone, like it falls and then you crack the screen and then you're shit out of luck. So I don't know again how this would work, but at that 50% cash back, would that entice you to get one? Again, you'd have to spend $1,000 right now to get $500 back whenever you're ready to move on from it. I still couldn't do it. I still feel like that's way too much money to pony up right now. Also, to know again, the S20 Ultra is having those autofocus issues, even though they say that it's corrected now, even though there are other reports saying that it's not really corrected yet. That doesn't sound promising for me. So then maybe the S20 or S20 Plus, but again, you're either still spending $1,000 or $1,200. And, there are other things to consider there. People don't care for the UI much. I don't care for the UI much. I'm a much more stock Android kind of guy. So for me to spend that much money and still not get stock Android, or, not get updates as timely, although I think they've been pretty timely with them recently. I don't know. Still don't think it's worth it. I think Ryan here, who wrote this article, makes a good point and says, just drop the price. That's how I feel Google should do it with their Pixels too. Just drop the price. So let's see. Yeah, Will says, yeah, it's bad because the new phone's going to be $1,500. Tito says, I want the iPhone XS. What does the iPhone XS sell at right now? I feel like you could get a pretty good deal on it. Are you talking brand new, or are you talking about a used one at this point? XS is a solid phone. It wasn't much of an improvement from the 10. I mean, pretty much the same. But yeah, performance wise, I mean, the camera still did fairly better, not like leaps and bounds better like the 10 or like the 11 Pro, but still pretty good. Will says that's a shady deal. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really seem that promising. So okay, moving on. I have this article from Android Community about the Fitbit Charge 4, officially announced with GPS active zone minutes. Are any of you guys still using Fitbits? I do have one. I can't remember which model I have, but it was pretty decent at the time. But I have an Apple Watch now, and that's just, well, in this case, it's leaps and bounds better than anything I've used. So in this article, once again, the rumors were true. The first Fitbit to be released since the Google acquisition has been officially announced. The Fitbit Charge 4 is now up for pre-order, and it comes in the same form that we're familiar with, but there are also some major changes. It now comes with built-in GPS and other sensors, plus more improved features to track your fitness and health journey better. Plus, it also comes with better support for Spotify, so your music or podcast needs are also made more accessible. The Fitbit Charge 4 is the first Fitbit that has built-in GPS. That means you can use it to track your location while running, walking, or doing other activities, even if you don't have your smartphone with you, which is great. There are 7 new GPS-enabled exercise modes, and all of that data will synchronize all. Did I read that wrong? There are 7 new GPS enabled exercise modes, and all of that data will synchronize all your data to a heat map in the Fitbit app. And it's just worded weird. It will show your route and also where the intensity increased or decreased. Battery wise, if you use GPS continuously, you'll get 5 hours out of your device, but sporadically, you can get as much as 7 days out of a single charge. And that's what I was used to. That was a big reason I got a Fitbit, because I was able to wear it for a week without charging it. With my, I can't get this in the frame, with my Apple Watch, I have to charge it every night. But even at the end of the day, I'm not like on the watch, right? Like I'm not using my watch extensively. I use it to check the time. I use it to check like where my rings are at, because I'm pretty obsessed with getting those rings closed every day. I use it to check when notifications hit in, but I'm not like touching my watch all day and using it exclusively. Again, it's a good way to just get notifications and see where I'm at with my progress for activity. Okay, so another new feature is called active zone minutes, which recognizes that tracking activity is not just counting steps. The heart rate tracking feature will determine your personalized heart rate tracking, and then whatever increases that can be detected as an activity. For example, if you're doing yoga and it increases your heart rate, then it'll record that as a fat burning activity. I think the Apple Watch does that, right? I'm pretty sure it does. There is a fat burn zone as well as cardio and peak zones, because when I could go to the gym back in the day, pre-quarantine, I would always do strength training, and it was still able to record me doing, I guess, lifting exercises or whatever. But I think it was just recording my heart rate and seeing when it rose or whatever. So the fitness tracker also has sleep tracking and a SP oxygen or SpO2 sensor, which can give an estimate of your oxygen level variability in your bloodstream, even while you're sleeping. That's pretty cool. You can activate sleep mode and set the necessary alarms directly from your wearable instead of doing it on your smartphone. And for Spotify fans, you now have a connect and control feature that will let you shuffle, skip, and like songs directly from your Fitbit. There's also support for Fitbit Pay and for Fitbit Premium subscribers. You get a guided fitness tool as well. You can already pre-order the Fitbit Charge 4, and shipping starts by April 13th. It's available in black, blah, blah, blah. It's priced at $149. So it's $150. That's a lot of stuff to get GPS, to get that oxygen sensor, sleep tracking, Spotify stuff. I mean, take that with a grain of salt. I haven't used one, directly. But the last Fitbit I had did pretty well for what it was at the price at the time. But I'm pretty happy with my Apple Watch, even though it's 2 years old. It's a Series 3. And I've been pretty happy with that. So let's see here. Will was saying, yeah, you can get a 10s Max unlocked for $494 starting on Swappa. That's a pretty good deal. I wonder what the battery life is on that. Does does Swappa, do the users or do the sellers tell you how much battery life is left on it? Because I like that the iPhone does that. I don't know why Android hasn't really added that feature in there to let you know what the battery health is on their phones, which would be nice. Let's see. Will says it'll synchronize all your data to Google. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. I wouldn't be surprised either. So, okay, this article from The Verge is talking about T-Mobile and Sprint's merger. So T-Mobile has finally completed its merger with Sprint, and then John Legere steps down as CEO. So T-Mobile officially owns Sprint. The merger was formally completed today after clearing a number of legal hurdles over the last year, including a Department of Justice review and lawsuits from a number of states. The combination turns the United States' third and fourth largest wireless carriers into a far more substantial third-place competitor to Verizon and AT&T. Again, the way that I look at it is I just feel like we're just getting this huge monopoly or oligopoly, right? Just less competition, more stagnant prices. But who am I to complain? Because right now I have T-Mobile, and I'm on a big ass family plan, and one of my buddies is a firefighter, and we pay $21.24 US for unlimited talk text, and I think it's 10 gigs per month of with rollover. And I think at some time it was also unlimited for like a year and a half. It was unlimited, but we have a hell of a plan. So at 21.24 after taxes, that's what I pay every month for my phone line after taxes. That's why I still have two lines, because my plan is cheap as shit. With the companies combined, John Legere is also stepping down as CEO of T-Mobile. T-Mobile is now being led by Mike Sievert, who was previously the company's COO. Legere led a dramatic turnaround of T-Mobile after coming on board in 2012, growing it from a distant fourth place carrier into a company capable of buying Sprint and pushing around larger competitors. Legere will remain on T-Mobile's board through June 2020. And then he said last year he would be stepping aside once the merger wrapped up. T-Mobile doesn't mention any immediate plans for the Sprint brand, and Sprint didn't say whether any immediate changes were planned in response to an email from The Verge. Speaking like just outside of this merger, I'm just wondering how it's going to work for someone like me who uses T-Mobile, and will my connection get any better? Will it get better in like more, you know, rural areas? Rural is right. Is that the right? Less with less shit around, because I know, especially with T-Mobile, in my experience, when I kind of go into areas that have nothing around it, my coverage pretty much goes to shit too. To get merger approval, T-Mobile made a number of big promises about how it'll improve its network excuse me, and extend service over the coming years. The company promises its 5G network will reach 99% of the US population within 6 years. So 6 years it'll take them to get 5G to 99% of the population and deliver 50 megabits per second speeds to 90% of Americans in rural areas. The company also committed to launching an in-home wireless internet service capable of delivering 100 megabit speeds to 90% of the population within 6 years and giving free internet access to 10 million homes within 5 years. I mean, the free internet access is nice to people, especially probably low income. A wireless internet service capable of delivering 100 megabit per second speeds to 90% of the pop. So they're doing their own kind of thing now. It also promises to offer the same or better rate plans for 3 years. And then what happens after those 3 years? To get Justice Department approval, T-Mobile also agreed to sell Sprint's prepaid businesses, including Boost Mobile and Virgin Mobile, to Dish. Okay, so yeah, so they pick up Sprint, but then they had to give away some of their shit to Dish. Got it. Dish will be allowed to piggyback on T-Mobile's network for 7 years. The government's hope is that Dish will turn into another nationwide wireless competitor, though as of now, it's starting largely from the scraps of Sprint. Interesting, not surprising, since we've been hearing about this for a while. Again, I'm just a little more curious how this is going to work as far as connections go. Like, is my service going to get better? And are my prices going to change? Because I don't want to stop paying that low price I'm paying. I'm pretty much grandfathered in with, we have two big ass plans. I think one plan right now has 12 people on it and the other plan has 10. So technically we have a 22-person family plan. And do you know why it works so well? Because it's cheap. And I always said, if anybody pays late, I'm just going to drop them from the plan. Nobody has paid late because this is the cheapest that we found for a plan with what it offers. Yeah. So let's see here. Brian says, Android probably doesn't do battery health because after 2 years they'll get rid of the device. iOS lasts 3 to 4 years and 5 plus if they really hold on to the device. I mean, that I get that, and I totally understand because people are just getting rid of their shit. But I would still love for them to implement, how much battery we're getting on our phones. I would love to see, especially if they implemented it on older phones, right? Like my Nexus 6P, that's what, 5 years old now. Is it older than 5 years? It's an old ass phone. It still works. I just want to know what kind of battery life is on that, like how much it's degraded to. Just curious. Brian says T-Mobile can't even get 50 megabits per second on their phones now. How the hell can they do 100 megabits home wirelessly? Yeah, I don't see that either. I really don't. But you know how these work. Hey, let's promise something 3 to 5 years from now, and then when it gets close to it, oh no, we got to deregulate something or change some shit, and that's why shit never gets done, man. Empty promises. Speaking of empty promises, I'm just kidding, but this is a big can I remove this? Yes, I can. This is a big article from The Wired. This is about Zoom, that video conferencing app, teleconferencing app that a lot of people are talking about. Everybody's been not downloading it. I have not yet. I haven't used Zoom. But obviously this app is getting a lot of publicity because everyone's been using it, but it's also getting some backlash because of its privacy issues. So a class action lawsuit, rampant Zoom bombing, and as of today, 2 new 0-day vulnerabilities. So obviously, when something like this gets that popular, people are also going to start finding its holes, and that's what they're doing right now. The popular video conferencing application Zoom has been having a moment during the COVID-19 pandemic, but it's not all positive. As many people's professional and social lives move completely online, Zoom use has exploded. But with this boom has come added scrutiny from security and privacy researchers, and they keep finding more problems, including 2 fresh 0-day vulnerabilities revealed Wednesday morning. The debate has underscored the inherent tension of balancing mainstream needs with robust security. Go too far in either direction, and valid criticism awaits. Zoom has never been known as the most hardcore, secure, and private service, and there have certainly been some critical vulnerabilities, but in many cases, there aren't a lot of other options. It's absolutely fair to put public pressure on Zoom to make things safer for regular users, but I wouldn't tell people don't use Zoom. It's like everyone driving a 1989 Geo and security folks are worrying about the airflow in a Ferrari. Zoom isn't the only video conferencing option, but displaced businesses, schools, and organizations have coalesced around it amid widespread shelter-in-place orders. It's free to use, has an intuitive interface, and can accommodate group video chats for up to 100 people. I didn't realize it can accommodate 100 people. Can you imagine 100 people in a video chat? No. I guess if like you're going in there for a conference and everyone needs to like be put on mute so they can listen to one guy. Can you imagine 100 little squares on the screen? I want to see it now. Actually, that would be a cool video just to see 100. It's like, can you really support up to 100 and then put 100 fucking people on that screen? There's a lot to like. By contrast, Skype's group video chat feature only 50 for Skype, guys. So how many people are doing 100 people in video conferencing a day? I'm sure there are people. I'm sure there are. It just seems funny. The image of it, of 100 people on a screen together, and imagine no one's mics are muted and everyone is just, I mean, okay, think about 100 people and you have to have everyone on the, I mean, I'm sure you can, in individually put someone on the screen so the 99 other people aren't there. But imagine if there's 100 people and everyone has to be seen and you have to listen to one guy and everyone's square is the same and you got to find out which is the one that's talking. Okay. I'll stop. And live streaming options like Facebook Live don't have the immediacy and interactivity of putting everyone in a digital room together. Google offers multiple video chat options, maybe too many. Yes, maybe too many. Not maybe, just a lot, if you're looking for one simple solution. At the same time, recent findings about Zoom security and privacy failings have been legitimately concerning. Zoom's iOS app was quietly, and the company says accidentally sending data to Facebook. I don't buy that really for a second. I feel like it's something that they've been doing. They've been knowledgeable about it. And that's not COVID-19. I swallow or breathed in wrong. But the only reason that they're doing anything now is because they got caught with their pants down. So the service pushed a fix late last week. Zoom also updated its privacy policy over the weekend after a report revealed that the old terms would have allowed the company to collect user information, including meeting content, and analyze it for targeted advertising or other marketing. And users have been creeped out by Zoom's attention tracking feature. What's that? Which lets the meeting host know if an attendee hasn't had the Zoom window in their screen's foreground for 30 seconds. Oh, that's fucked up. Wow. Users have been creeped out by Zoom's attention tracking feature, which lets the meeting host know if an attendee hasn't had the Zoom window in their screen's foreground for 30 seconds. Is that a way to know if people are not listening or paying attention? I think the technology in that is pretty cool, but that's okay. During the pandemic, a type of online abuse known as Zoom bombing, in which trolls abuse Zoom's default screen sharing settings to take over meetings, often with racist messages or pornography, has also spiked. You know how people are going to be. People are always going to fuck around. Look at Ring. Look at how many people hacked into Ring to get into people's doorbells or webcams or Nest or whatever, right? Because it's just, people will find those vulnerabilities, they'll find those holes, they will abuse it, and they'll fuck around because that's what people do. So Zoom offers tools to protect against that sort of assault, specifically the option to password protect your meeting, add a waiting room for pre-vetting attendees, and limit screen sharing. So it's nice to see them putting some measures in there. Some paid and free specialty versions of the service, like Zoom for Education, also have different screen sharing defaults. But in general, the service doesn't highlight these options in a way that would make them intuitive to enable. It's as though in suddenly shifting from the office to work from home, we didn't so much move the conference room into our kitchens as into the middle of the public square, says Rihanna Pfefferkorn. I was able to say that name properly, I think. Pfefferkorn, it just sounds cool. Pfefferkorn, Associate Director of Surveillance and Cybersecurity at Stanford Center for Internet and Society. Pfefferkorn. I'll stop. I don't really want to read through this entire thing. Obviously, there have been issues with the Zoom, but what they're saying is it's still a decent software to use. Just, kind of be on the lookout. I haven't used Zoom yet. I kind of want to use Zoom just to test it out, to compare it to like what I used to stream, because I use StreamYard. We've had 6 people, I think, on it, and it's been fine. No lag, and we're doing it live, and it's been pretty good so far. I need to dig more into Duo just to use it, just to test it out. I just want to see what these other ones are capable of and see how well they work. But yeah, I mean, I should at least try Zoom. I don't know if I can do it without them getting all my info, but who's to say that everything else I've been using, has been given away. So I don't know. So let's see here. Mike, Simply Your Device with a 99-cent super sticker. I don't know what that super sticker is, so I don't have my thing up to look. Oh, It's 100. I got it. I see it. Oops. I hope that wasn't playing. Shit, I have way too many windows open. Mike, thank you so much for the 99-cent super sticker. Appreciate you stopping by in the chat. For everybody, I'm doing my little thing here. If you guys haven't already, please feel free to like this video, share, subscribe, comment. That kind of stuff really helps me get me, I guess, somewhere in the algorithm. Maybe not, but if you do, it's very helpful either way, and I do appreciate it and support you guys. I appreciate the support for you guys stopping by. Will says, so it tells when you aren't paying attention. Yeah, I think so. Or I think if you minimize it or you kind of put it away or something, I think that's what it's doing. Trump should have used Zoom so he wouldn't have been able to stop paying attention to COVID briefings before he sent our supplies to China. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're living in a crazy world. Okay, so I have this article from Android Police. I think we're going to talk about some OnePlus stuff here. We're going to talk about the 7 Pro, and then we're going to get into the OnePlus 8. But this article from Android Police says OnePlus 7 and 7 Pro get better RAM management and improved slow-mo videos in Oxygen OS 10.0.5. They haven't received the April security patch, though. So here's the thing is, again, this is OnePlus still going out there to keep supporting their older hardware. I mean, the OnePlus 7 isn't that old, but you know what I'm saying. OnePlus is usually praised as a manufacturer that updates its devices sooner rather than later, but our data shows that isn't necessarily the case for the OnePlus 7 Pro. It missed quite a few security patches in the course of the last year. The latest release continues this trend. Interesting. While OnePlus 7 Pro and 7 have just received an update to Oxygen OS 10.0.5 or 10.3.2 in India, they've only gotten the March security patches, not the ones from April. At least the devices aren't stuck with the January patches any longer, which they received as part of their previous Oxygen OS release. Other than the security update, OnePlus says that it has optimized RAM management and improved system stability. The camera has also picked up a more stable slow-mo video recording mode. I'm sorry, there are people out there like starting to cut grass or do some shit, so if it starts to get noisy, I apologize. And a bug that made screenshots disappear randomly in the gallery has been fixed. As always, the new software is rolling out in stages. You can check your system settings for updates, but if you haven't received a notification yet, it'll likely take some time until the Oxygen OS release reaches you. So yeah, update for the OnePlus 7 and the 7 Pro. Now, I have this article from Droid Life. I talked about this the other day because OnePlus, went live. They didn't go live, but everyone's talking about how OnePlus is going to be officially releasing their new OnePlus 8, OnePlus 8 Pro, and possibly a budget phone, the OnePlus Z, maybe around the same time, maybe later. We don't know yet. And it has a lot of specs. I don't think it's really talked specifically about the camera. It might have, I think, a 48 megapixel one, but I don't know for sure. But it's talked about the specs, and the only thing that's missing really at this point is the price of the phone. So this report says OnePlus 8 pricing may not completely suck. Very straightforward title there. We're all very curious how OnePlus intends to price the OnePlus 8 lineup, considering the OnePlus 8 Pro is now confirmed to have similar specs to that of the Galaxy S20 Ultra from Samsung. So here's the thing is, I've been saying it for a while now, but OnePlus has been going up in price year over year, and while it's still undercutting the competition as far as flagship stuff, it's still getting at prices where I would rather pass than pay. The best way that I can put it. The problem with that is Samsung might be the only Android OEM who could get away with having the audacity to charge $1,400 for a smartphone. Could OnePlus get away with that? We don't think so. Plus, that's not how they tend to operate. They don't tend to operate that way, but they're still pricing their phones pretty high. Again, this is why it's always good to look at some of their older models, because they usually put those at really good discounts, especially around this time. And I just talked about that earlier with the OnePlus 6T for $300. The OnePlus 7T you can get now, I think, straight from their website for $499. In a conversation with OnePlus CEO Pete Lau, Business Insider India has learned that we might be pleasantly surprised by the pricing of the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. Will we, though? According to them, these phones could be the most affordable 5G devices to launch this year, which is actually big news if accurate. I don't know about that. Let's consider what's available right now in the 5G department. Looking at the big brands, there's the Galaxy S20 lineup starting at $1,000. You also have the LG V60, which starts at $800 on T-Mobile. Even if OnePlus can't beat the LG V60 price at $800, with the OnePlus 8 Pro packing an insane amount of specs, coming in under $1,000 would be a big win for consumers. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think paying $1,000, insane amount of specs. So let's talk about those insane amount of specs. You get a Snapdragon 865. You get 120 hertz display or 120 hertz refresh rate. So great things there. You'll get 8 gigs of RAM or 12 gigs of RAM, 128 or 256 gigs of internal storage, IP68 water and dust, certification or whatever, water dust proof, resistant. That's the word. Sorry. Wireless charging, fast charging. And then, I don't know. Yeah. Are they great specs? They are. They're top end specs. They're top end specs for what you can get in 2020. Is that worth my $1,000? I don't know. I don't really know. We still don't know what that camera is going to be like, right? A big reason a lot of people spend money is for the best camera. And at $1,000, I expect a pretty good damn camera, especially at night, especially in low light. That's important to me. Maybe it's not for you guys, but it is for me. I'm not trying to bash OnePlus here because they make good hardware. They've made good performing hardware. There isn't another company that. So even though I'm a big fan of stock Android, OnePlus technically, I just had this conversation yesterday, but OnePlus technically doesn't have stock vanilla Android, but they do it in such a way where it's so clean it could almost be touted as such. But with and this is something that can be argued might even be better, right? Because they seem to enhance what stock Android has or gives you and kind of adds a little more to it. Again, the thing I talk about a lot is price point and spending money. And I'm at that point. I'm at that point in my life where I don't want to spend more than $500 for a new phone. And again, as I said it before, I'm putting my foot down on that because I just don't think we need to be paying that much money for a phone. If you have the cash, fine, right? I don't. If you got money to spend or money to burn, that's great, but I don't. I don't see myself. I'm trying to think what this would price at. So, manufacturers today, they keep coming up with this 3 model solution. Let's make a very high end model. Let's make another high end model, but take away some stuff and still call it a flagship. And then let's make a mid range model. So, if they make this budget OnePlus Z, right, which is supposed to be a successor for the OnePlus X, they're already talking that it's not going to have a Snapdragon processor. It's not even going to have, it's not going to have a Snapdragon 800. It's not going to have any of those. It's going to be using I think a MediaTek, right? A density, whatever. I can't remember. Dimensity. Well, I can't remember the name, but yeah, those aren't going to have the best specs. Their mid-range version is going to come in at probably $400 to $500, right? And is it going to be a really well-performing OnePlus phone? I don't know. Maybe it could. I never used the OnePlus X. I haven't heard the best things about it, but again, I can't speak for that because I haven't used one. And then the OnePlus 8, right, which is going to be their flagship phone, but not their top end phone, will probably come in at, I guess, $700 to $800. is my guess, and that's still way too much for me. That budget price for the OnePlus Z, if that comes out, I probably wouldn't spend the money on it because it probably isn't going to be the best, or at least the best performing enough to make me say, well, that was worth my money. Because maybe I'm just better off spending. Again, look at the OnePlus 7T going for $499 right now. That's probably going to be a better deal than what this OnePlus Z or whatever is gonna be or gonna have on it. And then the OnePlus 8 Pro, so it's gonna be under $1,000. I think Pete Lau was um bragging about it, like, yeah, it's gonna be, because he said it's gonna be less than what you can get for the base S20. So 1,000, it's gonna be less than $1,000 is pretty much what he was saying. 900, is that what it's gonna price at? 800 to $900. That's still a lot of money for a phone, guys. It's still a lot of money. I'm not telling you not to buy it. Buy whatever the fuck you want. I mean, who am I to talk, right? I spent $800 for a Pixel 4. I spent $1,000 on my iPhone 11 Pro, but those were the last two phones that I really said I was going to spend my money on. And I mean, I think I will buy whatever upcoming Pixels that's going to replace the Pixel 4, whatever is going to be the successor to the Pixel 4, maybe. And the iPhone 11 Pro, probably. Just, it depends on what I can get on trade-in and how much I end up spending overall. Again, I say I put my foot down, but I feel like those might be exceptions. So am I a hypocrite? Probably, but I'm just trying to make you guys aware of what to spend your money on, and maybe what's a better deal out there. So okay, so let's see. Will says 5G is trash. Will says send the money to me and let me burn it. Brian says 5G is now going to be delayed for another 1.5 years due to the recession. Reliable LTE is good enough for now. That's how I feel about it. I mean, even if this recession and stuff wasn't in the midst, I still don't think 5G was going to be. I don't know how long that was really going to take before it came out. Brian, don't like Gary. Hear that, Jerome? Oh God. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so I do have this article from Moto G. So I think this got released today. This article from Mashable says Moto G Power with massive battery for only $249 is available for pre-order. So here we go with a budget phone, right? Because we have something under $400. This Moto G, I don't know much about either of these two that are releasing, but Motorola made two affordable phones available for pre-order today, the Moto G Power and the Moto G Stylus. Both are fairly classic entry-level devices with 6.4-inch displays, 4 gigs of RAM, and a Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 chipset. Now, this isn't stock Android. I actually read an article about Motorola because they were making Android One phones, and then they decided that they would still call it Moto One, but then not put stock Android on it. And I couldn't understand. I think they said that their consumers didn't really care. So then Motorola said, okay, we'll just skin it our way, which doesn't really make much sense to me. The main difference between the two is that the Power focuses on battery life, as it has a massive 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The Stylus only has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, but it does come with a stylus and more memory. Why can't you guys just put the best parts of these phones together? Why are you making two different versions? Do you know how confusing this is for so many people? I mean, even me, you guys call your phones so many different things. I don't even know what's what anymore. 128 versus 64 gigs. Both phones' memory can be expanded via micro SD cards. The Moto G Stylus also has a more powerful camera system with a triple 48, 16, 2 megapixel rear camera and a 16 megapixel hole punch selfie camera. I just feel like Motorola has a bunch of used, or not a bunch of used parts, but a bunch of spare parts sitting in their warehouse. And they're like, we got to get rid of this shit, guys. We got to get rid of this shit. Let's make 2 new phones by the end of the week. And let's call it whatever big words you can use that ends with Moto, a letter, and then some adjective or whatever. I don't know, man. There's so many that it's starting to get not starting. It's confusing. For me, it's confusing. I especially like the fact that both phones have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which is something that most flagships these days don't have, even those who come at $1,000 prices. Finally, both the Moto G Power and the Moto G Stylus run Android 10. Those specs are pretty decent for the price, which is $250 for the G Power and $300 for the G Stylus. So look at this right here, right? $300 for the G Stylus. This G Stylus has a 665 chipset, right? 4 gigs of RAM. You can get that OnePlus 6T I was just talking about for $300. That has a Snapdragon 800 processor, which is probably going to work a lot better performance wise. The camera on there, I mean, I haven't used this, right? But I'm assuming the camera on the 6T was still decent from what I remember. And the battery was fine on it too. So I don't know. I just these manufacturers keep making phones and they keep making phones, and then every day or two, like I can run news on phones all fucking day because these guys have so many different models that nobody knows what to buy anymore. And I think that's another inherent problem with the Android ecosystem, because there's so many of these guys making these phones. Not only that, but they'll make the phone, then they make 3 different versions of it. And then you have Apple, who just makes their iPhone and then just stays pretty consistent year over year over year. It, I don't know. It gets frustrating after a while. It does. It really does. Will says, but the stylus. I need the stylus. Do you guys when you guys had, I think both of you, Brian, Will, you both use a Note, right? Or you've used a Note. Do you guys use that stylus? Is that something you guys really use? I've never owned a Note. Just transparent with you guys. I've never owned a Note. I've never used the stylus. I've never thought I ever needed I never thought I would need a use for it. I still don't think I would. I mean, I'm not an artist in that way. I don't draw shit. I don't blueprint stuff. So I don't know. Okay, so this article from Engadget I thought was interesting. This is an article about Sony debuting $200 headphones with powerful active noise cancellation and long battery life. Over the last few years, Sony has given Bose a run for its money when it comes to noise canceling headphones. With the 1000X line, Sony has continued to improve both audio and active noise cancellation in successive products. It also offers a taste of those high-end features in more affordable models, like the WHXB900N. Why does Sony name these things why is it so complicated? Guys, Sony, you guys can name things better. It doesn't need to be like, keep them as your model numbers, but maybe give them some decent names. Still, that extra base option was $250. Now the company's back with another set of noise canceling headphones, the WHCH 710N. And this time, thankfully, they're even more affordable at $200. Sony isn't clear if it's the exact same adaptive noise cancellation that the WH-1000XM3 employs, but the WHCH 719N, please, guys, name it something better. Comes with powerful active noise cancellation that should hold its own. Like a lot of noise canceling headphones these days, they offer this bunch of letters and numbers, offers an ambient sound mode. This handy feature allows you to hear things like traffic noise and the barista at a coffee shop without having to pause your music or take them off. As you might expect, Sony also touts the pure clear sound from their 30mm drivers. The company also has a knack for efficient headphone battery life, and that's still true here. Sony says they'll last for up to 35 hours on a charge, 5 hours longer than the flagship WH-1000XM3. When you do have to reach for the USB-C cable, a quick charge feature will give you an hour of listening in just 10 minutes. The WHCH 710N also supports NFC quick pairing and one-button access to your phone's voice assistant. I don't know. It doesn't look bad. I wish there was a little more to see here, but yeah, just thought I would bring that up. $200 headphones. I keep hearing good things about Sony and their headphones or earbuds or whatever, and just thought I'd give it a little shout out. Um, oh, we already read this, or I had the similar story before, so we'll skip that. Okay, so this article from Gizmodo talks about how to improve your Wi-Fi speeds when everyone's home. If you have this issue, this might be helpful. I haven't read it, so I'll let you know if it's maybe helpful or not. Chances are your home internet is under a lot more strain than normal at the moment, with schools and workplaces temporarily closing all across the globe. You might well be fighting with your family or your housemates for any available bandwidth. If you want to limit buffering and maximize speeds, we've got a few tips to consider. The basics, first of all, there are all the internet optimization tips that apply no matter how many devices you've got connected. We covered these in detail in the past. To summarize, get your router hub somewhere central and consider wiring up certain demanding devices like consoles and streaming boxes if possible with Ethernet cable. Like that should be self-explanatory, or I maybe it's not obvious to a lot of people, but if you are having issues with your internet connection at home, make sure that your router, right, where you know it gets your Wi-Fi connection. If you only have one of them, make sure it's at the highest spot in your place in a central area. That's probably the best way to put it. If you're not going to be wired, if you're going to be wireless, make sure that it's in a central spot and it's somewhere up high. That'll be your best bet for coverage. Walls, windows, fish tanks, and anything that uses electromagnetic radiation, like a cordless phone or a microwave, can interfere with wireless internet signals too. So you need to think about where your router is positioned in relation to all these objects and obstacles. Okay. So I'm just seeing what other facts they have here. Managing demand. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really, this is too much work to, okay, put this at a lower speed and this at just, I think the way to think about it is what you use for priority, right? I stream. So right now my PC is wired because I'm going to need the most bandwidth to upload while other people are streaming down where I'm at. I don't, again, if you have a big place, you might want to think about doing mesh networking, right? So back in the day, I used to do APs or access points. Mesh networking helps, like if you have the Google Wi-Fi, or what do they call it now? Google Nest something Wi-Fi. You might want to have more than one of those if you have a big place, especially if you have a place that has multiple floors. You want one on each floor if you can. And again, prioritize central, put it high. That's it. So, okay. Next article. Oh, I am not, I don't know if I'm going to be going through this. I might actually save this for another day. This is me bitching about Comcast and data caps. I know they've been putting data caps on a lot of services that you use. When I say Comcast, I mean Xfinity, but this is no different than Time Warner or Charter or Spectrum or whatever the fuck, Verizon, Fios. A lot of these companies put data caps on your internet. And they don't do it because that's pretty much what this article talks about. Maybe I'll get into it another day. Maybe it'll be something I'll do on a higher production video, because this is too much for me to talk about right now and bitch about. Because I gotta end the stream in a little bit, guys. But yeah, they don't put data caps because they're trying to save people from overusing the internet. They have enough bandwidth to for most people to do what they need to do. They've been putting data caps on people because money. They want you to spend more money, because if you go over the data cap, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep my phone on. If you go over the data cap, then you got to pay an extra $10 or something for X amount more gigs, up to $50 extra a month. Anyway, that's it. Just it's oligopolies being oligopolies and being greedy and trying to take your money. That's it. Okay, so this last article I have is from CNET. The iPhone 9 may launch soon after case spotted in a Best Buy leak. Apple's new cheaper iPhone may or may not be coming soon. I feel like, I haven't read this article yet, but I feel like it's already clickbait because of this whole may. It may come, but it may not come. So don't hold your breath, or maybe hold your breath because it's coming, or maybe it's not coming. Apple's cheaper 4.7-inch iPhone 9, its current non-official name, has been rumored for months. And while the coronavirus pandemic has added an extra layer of uncertainty to whether it will arrive this spring, images of a new case seem to indicate it's still on its way. If an image sent to 95 Mac and Mac Rumors is to be believed, Best Buy is already receiving cases for a quote new iPhone 4.7-inch 2020. According to the sites, the case in question from Urban Armor Gear comes with instructions that it should not be sold until Sunday, April 5th. Wait, that's later this week. Rumored for a while, the new 4.7-inch iPhone may be called the iPhone 9 or iPhone SE2. Like the original iPhone SE, it's expected to be cheaper than recent iPhone models like the $700 iPhone 11. It's said to keep a design similar to the iPhone 8, including having a home button, but will have updated internal components to make it more modern than the 2017 phone, like an A13 processor. Later on Tuesday, front page text John Prosser tweeted that Apple was preparing for an April release for the iPhone 9. Tentative dates: announcement on April 15th, shipments on April 22nd. Huh. Rumors previously had the phone pegged to come out by the end of March for potentially $399. I'm still want to, I'm waiting for this announcement because I might be interested in this iPhone 8 successor, iPhone SE successor. Again, I think a lot of that is going to depend on what the camera is going to be. Again, I think this will be an iPhone, or this iPhone 9 or whatever it ends up being called. It's going to be a Pixel 4a killer if it comes with this A13 processor, and it comes with the iPhone 11 shooter. You put those two together, those are the two best things on the iPhone 11 Pro right now, is that processor and the camera. You put those two things on an iPhone 9 like this, you charge $400, that thing will sell. I mean, it'll kill that Pixel 4a easily. I mean, I'm just being straight up with you. It can have that front fingerprint reader, it can have those big ass bezels, but it's going to have a well performing processor. So it's going to have great performance. It's going to have a great camera. I don't, it's going to be tough to beat at that price, especially if performance, like lag free, getting through your shit on your phone, and a camera are your two top priorities. I'm going to recommend that all day if that's what it comes with. Again, I don't know. It might not. I mean, that's such a low price, and I don't know. It might eat at other iPhone 11s or whatever, but I don't know. I think that would be a good play. That's how I feel. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, did I miss someone? Oh, Jonah. God damn it. There's so many. Hold on. Jonah, hey, welcome to the stream, man. Jonah says, sorry I missed the beginning. Jonah, I remember this name from like back in the day when I was starting out, when I had my Moto X. Were you around that time? I swear you were. But anyway, Jonah, thanks for making the stream. I actually have to end this. I've been streaming for about an hour now, almost an hour 15. So I'm about to end the stream today, but thank you for making it. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining the chat. Let's see. Brian says the 6T will probably get more updates. Probably. I hope so. Brian says Moto G Power Stylus Plus Ultra. And then Will says, well, I'm buying the Sony WHCH 3000 ANC. That actually seems easier than some of the other shit that they put together here. So anyway, April 14th to screw OnePlus. I could see that too. Okay, guys. So that's it for today. How was I going to end this intro? I forgot. Okay, so guys, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for joining TNT Joe-Fi today. If you guys don't know, I stream, or at least I try to stream this daily at 12 p.m. Central. Those can be pretty much cemented at this point, or the 12 p.m. Central can be cemented at this point. I like this time frame. I feel like it works really well for me. So catch me live 12 p.m. Central. Again, I'll be here tomorrow streaming. what else can I say here? I'm sorry. I'm like trying to get the outro ready. So I'm just sorry. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining. Again, I stream daily at 12 p.m. Central. If you guys haven't already, I do have a Instagram and a Twitter. You can find me at Phone Jerome. You can also find me on Patreon, patreon.com / Jerome Ortega. I might change that to Phone Jerome in the future. But if you guys want to help me out there, that's great too. I do want to thank Mike earlier for the 99-cent super chat. Thanks so much, Mike, for stopping by. Thanks for everybody else that came in. That came and said hi, that joined the chat. Even if you guys left already, I appreciate you guys coming by and stopping to hang out. Hold on here. Sorry if any music played. I'm getting this ready. So that'll be it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. God damn it, Brian's always at the not God damn it, Brian with the $1 super chat. Brian, thanks so much, man. Again, appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys. You guys are always in here, and I'm very thankful for that. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. So, and that's no bullshit, man. That's just me being straight up. So thank you guys. Thanks for everybody stopping by. Again, I will see you tomorrow. That's it. I'm hitting play on this thing and swapping this out. So see you guys.